I can't swallow food. That's what I told Dr. Campbell as I sat in his office at the hospital. The blinding fluorescent lights buzzed overhead and my nostrils filled with the bleach hospital smell in that chilly room. Well, said Dr. Campbell, your acid reflux has progressed significantly. Then he told me you now have a severe case of Barrett's esophagus. What's that? I asked, my voice trembling. Well, the flat pink lining of the swallowing tube that connects your mouth and your stomach was damaged by acid reflux, making the lining red and thick. In short, your esophagus has narrowed to the point where it's difficult to swallow solid foods, he said. I see no other option but to schedule an esophageal stent procedure for you. Later, I would lay in the same hospital twice as Dr. Campbell placed a long, thin tube called a catheter down the back of my mouth and into my esophagus. Then he placed a folded up hollow tube called a stent over the catheter across the blockage. When the stent expanded against the walls of my esophagus, Dr. Campbell removed the catheter and left the stent in place. After the first procedure, the stent moved. I felt pain in my throat and tasted blood, so I had to go through the procedure again. The second time, it damaged my throat so much that I was barely able to speak. So what happened? And why am I telling you this? My name is Jeff Martin, and I'm telling you this because I don't want you to go through the same horrifying experience. In the next 5 minutes, I'll reveal the shocking proof why the real cause of your acid reflux has nothing to do with the foods you're eating, your lower esophagus, or even with stomach acid. I'll show you why over-the-counter and prescription medicines for heartburn not only won't heal your acid reflux for good, but they will also put your health and your life at risk. The latest research shows that conventional drugs and over-the-counters for acid reflux increase your chances of developing painful and dangerous health conditions, such as Barrett's esophagus, by 712%. You'll find out the reason why later in this video. I know this information may shock you, but please bear with me for the next few minutes. While it may sound unusual, my journey with Barrett's esophagus is what eventually led me to find a permanent solution to my acid reflux and save thousands of others worldwide from this terrible condition. If you simply follow the step-by-step plan I'm going to share later in this video, starting tomorrow morning, you'll never have to experience any heartburn pain again or those disgusting acid burps that make you feel like your throat is on fire. Everything I'm about to tell you, including the acid reflux medical breakthrough plan, is supported by countless peer-reviewed medical studies around the world. It's a system that targets and destroys the actual cause of acid reflux, regardless of your age, genetics, or lifestyle. And even if you've suffered from acid reflux for decades, I'm positive this system will help you. How many thousands of dollars have you spent on medical visits, prescription drugs, and over-the-counters that never seem to work? Don't waste your money anymore. This system will tackle the root cause of your acid reflux and cut down your risk of developing dangerous conditions such as Barrett's esophagus to nearly zero. Right now, as we speak, inside your body lies a silent but deadly killer. It's the root cause of acid reflux in almost all gastric health conditions, including Barrett's esophagus. But don't worry. In this short presentation, I'm going to explain to you the most effective and up-to-date system that eliminates this silent killer in just 5 easy steps. A system used by myself and over 154,387 people around the globe. It's time for you to reclaim your health and happiness. That's exactly what happened to Roger Molina from New Jersey, who said, "Dear Jeff, I'm a 57-year-old man from New Jersey and came across your website completely by accident. I've suffered from acid reflux and hiatal hernia for more than a decade. I was a Zantac and Tums junkie, yet the pain, especially at night or after a heavy meal, was sometimes so overwhelming that I had to take painkillers. I tried several other natural remedies before reading your book, including the so-called apple cure, but they offered nothing but temporary relief. I must say that your program not only makes sense, it's a real godsend. In less than 2 weeks, my chest pain and constant burning were gone. Not only that, I can't remember when I've experienced such a profound sense of clarity and well-being. I've become a lot more energetic. My sleep is fantastic, and I look and feel fabulous. Here's another. Greg Nicotero from Cambridge, UK says, "Hi, Jeff. I'm only 3 weeks into the Heartburn No More program, and by following the principles in your book, I'm already experiencing significant relief from my acid reflux condition. I've been battling acid reflux, food intolerance, and leaky gut syndrome for 7 years, and I'm so thankful for the invaluable knowledge I've received from your book. It has helped me tremendously with other digestive problems too, and all naturally, without the use of conventional medications. I'll definitely recommend your book to anyone suffering from digestive disorders and chronic heartburn. This program is an answer to my prayers." And Jacqueline Dimmig of Finland says this about our program. "Dear Jeff, this book is probably the most informative and practical guide on the subject of acid reflux and heartburn that I've ever read. I'm a medical student, and I've always found the alternative approach to be more comprehensive and interesting. Following the step-by-step program in your book has proven one thing. The natural way works and has longer lasting effects than any conventional method. It's been a month since I started applying the program, and the vast majority of my acid reflux and heartburn symptoms have vanished. I no longer have any use for the antacids or proton pump inhibitors. This is truly remarkable." In just a minute, I'm going to explain what causes acid reflux, and I'll give you the solution. The solution that has changed the lives of more than 154,387 people. My name, as I said before, is Jeff Martin. At 53 years old, I live in a peaceful suburb of Irvine, California. About 60 million Americans suffer from acid reflux, and I was one of them. It started as a mild case of heartburn in my 20s, but it got so bad that by my mid-30s, I had to take medication. I felt so desperate for relief that I spent the next 20 years or so trying out every prescription and over-the-counter drug. But these drugs always had side effects. Even the pills that reduced the reflux left me with other problems. If I'm just trading heartburn for chronic diarrhea or nausea, why bother? I tried adding dairy to my diet, hoping that milk would reduce the acids. It did not. I constantly sucked on Tums and swallowed Zantac, hoping for a tiny sliver of relief that never came. Eventually, I just stopped trying. With constant acid burps and a burning throat, I just accepted my fate. I just had to keep living with the discomfort. Years later, it got to the point where I found it extremely difficult to swallow solid foods. I dreaded every meal. I feared going out to restaurants because of the chance I might choke on the food or vomit in public. I was short of breath, anxious, and tired all the time. Then I got some devastating news. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But at the same time, this news also led me down the path to finding the truth about acid reflux and the solution. I had an urgent checkup with my physician. He already knew a lot about my acid reflux condition, and the checkup was going along as usual. I told my physician about the difficulty I had swallowing foods. He wasn't shocked at first, but then his expression changed. He saw some discoloration near the bottom of my throat and told me to get it checked out. The next week, I had an upper GI endoscopy and a biopsy, supervised by Dr. Woodhall, a specialist in gastrointestinal disorders. My worst fears came true when the test results came back. I was now one of 6 million Americans with Barrett's esophagus. 20% of people who experience acid reflux eventually develop it. And there was no other option but to go through the scary esophageal stent procedure, just so I could swallow solid foods again. I felt all kinds of emotions: shock, fear, anxiety. My esophagus had narrowed so much that I was barely able to eat. I had no idea that something like acid reflux was slowly destroying my body and putting me at risk. I felt awful when Dr. Woodhull told me that my only option was to do a painful stent procedure. To make it worse, he said this stent would not help with my acid reflux at all. It could make matters worse, and it did. Even after the second round of stent placement, my acid reflux got so bad, especially at night, that I just couldn't sleep. I felt hopeless. With all this pain, I didn't feel like I had a life anymore. I even thought about killing myself. I didn't want to spend my life in pain, and I was seriously considering ending it all. It would have been an easy escape. These thoughts stayed with me for a few months, until one day when it all changed. I was in the bathroom when I heard a sound. I heard the laughter of my two daughters coming from downstairs. Due to my condition and weakness, I couldn't spend much time with them. I'd spent most of my time in bed. Hearing Amy's laugh in the adorable way she called out to her sister during their game of hide and seek, it brought me out of the darkness. This made me reconsider my life. I was a father and a husband and a man, and it was time for me to act like one. That was when I made the decision that I had to take control of my health. To do this, I needed to know everything about my condition. I gathered all the strength I could find and began researching heartburn and reflux. I wanted to understand it to the core. What was it? How was it caused? And above all, what could stop it? The photodynamic therapy put me through hell, but it also meant I had a lot of time on my hands. I moved a work desk close to my bed and set up my computer. My goal was to know everything about my disorder, understand it fully, and figure out how to stop it. I got to work, exploring the internet, looking for anything and everything about acid reflux. At first, I didn't have much success, only finding the typical advice, like don't eat spicy foods, quit smoking and drinking, change your diet. Everyone with acid reflux knows this already. I did find out why acid reflux happens. It's associated with the lower esophageal sphincter, or LES. In our bodies, a valve opens and shuts as food enters the stomach. It acts as the regulating mechanism. What happens in people with LES issues, or a weak LES, however, is that the valve doesn't close after the food enters. The valve stays open, allowing stomach contents, like acids, to rise back up into the throat. This causes heartburn. If your LES does not function properly, most doctors are clueless and helpless about a solution. They'll just tell you that your only option is to cope with it, and they'll prescribe medications that, as usual, mask the problem. Regarding those medications, I looked at each one in great detail. I found that not only do these drugs make you nauseous and cause chronic constipation, diarrhea, and stomach pains, but also they hardly ever work. Research shows that 80% of people taking these drugs for relief still have heartburn. Millions of people take these pills, but they hardly help anyone. But as I understood how they worked and what they're meant to do, I realized why they never solved the problem of acid reflux. Think about it. Practically all acid reflux pills, lozenges, and other medicines do one of three things: prevent the acid from traveling back up to the throat, lower the acid content already in your stomach, help boost your immunity to the burning acid by coating your stomach. These are all extremely ineffective. It's like sticking a Band-Aid over a knife wound that's gushing blood. These drugs don't treat the disease, they barely treat the symptoms. Stopping the acid from coming up doesn't change the fact that something still causes the acid to rise up in the first place. It's like trying to mop up puddles on the floor without fixing the leaks in the pipes causing those puddles. The second type of medication reduces the amount of acid you have in your stomach. The problem is that your body needs to have a healthy amount of acid to fight bacteria and prevent serious diseases such as Barrett's esophagus. This is only one of the reasons why these acid-reducing medications can actually cause this disease. The third kind of medication is almost useless. The coating doesn't treat the underlying issue. It just masks the symptoms for a while. The deeper I went down the rabbit hole of my search, the more I understood the truth. Pharmaceutical companies, doctors, diet and nutrition experts, they focus on what to do about the acid reflux after it's already started, not on how to prevent it. This led me to dig deeper. I studied medical journals and sent emails to credible biologists and scientists. It wasn't just my curiosity driving me. This was personal. It was my only shot at fighting my disease. I had to find a way to stop my esophageal cells from being constantly burned by acid. I had to find a way to stop my pain and my tormented nights. In March of that year, I got some good news. During my search, I'd contacted a biologist working at a university, Bob Andrews. That day, he responded. He was a busy man with many research projects on the go. Still, he told me that he too had suffered from acid reflux for decades. He understood how desperate I was. He also believed he had an easy method using natural foods that could manage the disorder. To treat acid reflux, he told me that I'd need to research a type of bacteria called H. pylori. The bacteria held the secret to solving my gastric problems. If I could understand how the bacteria worked and how to destroy it with an all-natural treatment, I could end my heartburn regardless of the stage and severity. This would also make me immune to all early and advanced stages of acid reflux. Bob's help was invaluable. He even sent me the access credentials to the research database of his private university. He asked me to swear to keep it confidential. Lastly, he sent links to many medical articles. Bob's resources pushed me forward. His assistance led me to discover shocking facts about these strange bacteria, the enemy from within. Now, let's talk about H. pylori and why it matters. The articles Bob Andrews sent explained everything. These bacteria are found in half the human population. Research studies show that 80% of all stomach ulcers, as well as 90% of all ulcers in the upper small intestine, are caused by it. The ulcers aren't the only thing H. pylori causes. Scientists have shown that a wide range of painful and often dangerous conditions such as gastritis, acid reflux, and Barrett's esophagus can all be traced back to this microbe. You probably have H. pylori in your body right now. As it spreads, the cells controlling the secretion of stomach acid get affected. This creates too much hydrochloric acid, and after that, the acid rushes into the esophagus. This is what actually causes acid reflux. Your stomach acts as the central gateway to various other major organs, the intestines, the pancreas, the colon, the prostate, and the esophagus. The bacteria use these pathways to colonize and spread, and as it spreads more and more, your risk of developing severe digestive disorders such as Barrett's esophagus increases exponentially. Isn't this shocking? A secret organism, something I'd never heard of, was inside my body killing me. Why had I never heard of these bacteria? If scientists knew about it, why hadn't they developed drugs to fight it? I wrote to Bob. He replied back saying he would rather have this discussion over the phone. So I picked up the phone and immediately dialed his number. What he told me was informative, but it also filled me with rage. Bob told me why I hadn't heard of H. pylori and its effects. He said that if pharmaceutical companies developed a treatment, it would also prevent countless other diseases caused by H. pylori. I felt perplexed. I thought treating disease was what the pharmaceutical companies did. Bob saw how naive I was, and then he shattered my illusions with a very simple point. Big Pharma earns tens of billions of dollars in treatments for gastrointestinal diseases caused by H. pylori. So you can see why they have no incentive to develop any effective treatments. After having this eureka moment, I didn't feel happiness or joy at first. I felt angry. This theory was confirmed by my friend Peter Shaw, who'd worked for more than 21 years as a medical researcher at a top Ivy League university. Peter told me something else that made my blood boil. Jeff, he said, Big Pharma also doesn't care about natural treatments. Let me tell you something. You remember your ex-girlfriend, Shelley? Sure, don't remind me. She was crazy, I replied. Well, said Peter, remember how you split up because Shelley was so possessive? And then when you met your current wife, Shelley did everything she could to sabotage the relationship? Yeah, I said, it was like if she couldn't have me, no one could have me. Exactly, said Peter. Big Pharma are just like Shelley. Pharmaceutical companies aren't legally allowed to patent natural ingredients like everyday food, he said, which means they can't turn them into a profitable drug. So instead of letting you go and allowing you to get better with natural, pure ingredients proven to work, they try to cling on to you by rebranding toxic antacid and pain-killing drugs as treatment for acid reflux. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, and it lit a fire under me. After my chat with Peter, I called up Bob Andrews to figure out a solution. What can we do about this? I asked Bob. What are the millions of Americans like me suffering day in and day out supposed to do? Is there no hope? There was a long silence. That's when Bob told me something that would change my life. He replied, that's not the case at all. In fact, you can eliminate H. pylori and put an end to your acid reflux in about a week's time. Listen carefully and write down everything I'm about to tell you. I grabbed my pen and started writing. To flush out the H. pylori from my system and treat my heartburn, I needed to follow 5 steps. I could do these things easily from the comfort of my home. To add to that, he gave me a 48-hour quick fix reflux relief protocol. This is an instant remedy, 3 easily available food items that you can use to prevent and eliminate any type of acid reflux attack at any level of severity. He also went on to name 5 scientifically proven compounds and nutrients that destroy H. pylori. All the compounds and nutrients he named can be found in fruits, vegetables, supplements, teas, and oils. You can add these to your diet without putting a dent in your wallet. On top of that, they're also full of vitamins. Let's talk about one of the key elements Bob told me about, sulforaphane. Researchers from a lab at Johns Hopkins University added this chemical, along with a few others, to the diets of test subjects, including both mice and humans. In both, they saw H. pylori wiped out. Bob gave me a long list of common foods, beverages, oils, and supplements containing all these elements. He also told me the amounts of each I needed to take every day. He said the purpose of this wasn't just to get those 5 elements into my body, but also to do it in a way that could kill the bacteria without upsetting my body's balance. These 5 elements can heal acid reflux. I call them the heartburn 5. This must have been why Bob, who once suffered from severe acid reflux, seemed practically immune to heartburn, and why none of his friends or family showed any signs either. The foods they ate every day constantly protected them from acid reflux, Barrett's esophagus, and other dangerous gastrointestinal disorders. Near the end of my long talk with Bob, he asked me to try out the 5-step protocol. I had to follow up with him in a week. By the end of our 3-hour conversation, I felt overwhelmed. Even though I knew Bob was credible, I still felt skeptical. I'd spent decades dealing with acid reflux, and I was in a painful battle against Barrett's esophagus, which was not only dangerous, but also narrowed my esophagus to the point where I found it hard to eat. Nothing had worked. Not medication, not over-the-counters, not dietary changes. And now someone I barely knew told me that the solution to all this was to consume a few nutrient-rich foods and beverages. I had trouble believing that it could be true. It seemed almost too easy. Still, I didn't have any other options. I'd tried every possible solution with no success. I had nothing to lose. The following day, I started to put Bob's protocol to the test. I paid $17 to the clerk at the grocery store for a 2-week supply of food. I realized it wasn't costing me more than usual. I could simply swap out my usual food items for the ones he'd specified. To be honest, the first day wasn't easy. The photodynamic therapy sessions had left my throat narrow and horribly burned. Having to eat everything seemed like a challenge, but I found strength and got through it. That's why I felt surprised that I didn't feel nauseous and I didn't burp or choke after eating these foods. The next day, I continued following Bob's diet and the rest of the protocol in his guide. And once more, I felt pleasantly surprised I could swallow food easily and keep an entire meal down without any issues. 5 days in, I realized that since I'd started Bob's protocol, I hadn't had a single case of heartburn, no pain, and no burning in my throat. Eating and swallowing other foods became so much easier. By the 9th day, it was time to see whether Bob's 5-step strategy could handle the worst I could give it: a large pepperoni pizza. The results? It was delicious. The last time I'd had a small slice of pizza was a year ago. I was convinced I'd pay a huge price for eating a whole large pepperoni pizza, a night full of acid reflux and burps. I was wrong. Nothing came up. No acid burps, no choking, no regurgitations, no upset stomach. I thought, what is happening? Is this actually working? I was 2 days late for my follow-up with Bob, but after my experience with the pepperoni pizza, I called him. I wanted him to know that thanks to his method, I'd felt better than I had in years. Bob, tell me honestly, how did you know this would work? I asked. Bob replied, remember how I told you I used to suffer from acid reflux? Emphasis on the used to. This is the exact strategy that helped me solve my acid reflux once and for all. At my next appointment with Dr. Woodhull, he was speechless. My esophagus was healing on its own. There were hardly any ulcers or inflammation. He wanted to run a few tests to be sure, and I got an esophageal pH test along with a full blood panel. When the results came in, Dr. Woodhull still couldn't believe it. Every single lab metric showed that I was in perfect health. I was finally free of acid reflux and Barrett's esophagus that had haunted my nights. The joy felt surreal. Picture what it would be like if, starting tomorrow, you never had to go through acid reflux and its complications again. Ever. Without costly treatments, without painful procedures. All by just adding natural nutrients to your diet without spending any more than your regular grocery budget. You'd never have to purchase any drugs to treat acid reflux again. No more Tums and other over-the-counters. No more useless and expensive doctor visits. No more nasty side effects. Not only would you be free of your heartburn, you would also eliminate the bacteria that causes the majority of chronic gastrointestinal conditions in the world. I felt ecstatic. I had reclaimed my life. That's what convinced me that I needed to spread the word about Bob's method to as many people as possible. At first, I simply typed up everything into a simple and easy to follow guide, and I handed it out to a small group of family and friends. Naturally, I wanted to get this guide out to as many people as possible, but Bob stopped me. Like any good scientist, he wanted to prove the results. He wanted more data, and he was right. After all, one person wasn't enough proof. That's when I had an idea. Over the years, I'd built up a network of friends online who had also suffered from acid reflux and Barrett's esophagus with different levels of severity. These people were spread out across the globe, and they were always there to offer support and advice to one another. I contacted these people to see if they'd be willing to put our protocol to the test, free of charge. Not only did the majority agree, but they contacted their friends too. Within just 2 weeks, Bob and I had a huge list of volunteers desperate to try our plan. The results were more spectacular than we even hoped they would be. Within a few short weeks, all the volunteers reported an improvement in their symptoms. Even Bob was shocked by the results. As a scientist, he said he'd normally be ecstatic to see a 60 to 70% success rate. But here we were pushing perfection, and all in less than a month. My cell phone and inbox were full of remarkable tales of recovery and heartfelt thank you messages. And that's why I've created this presentation. After seeing the devastating impact that acid reflux had on my life, I've made it my mission to get this protocol out to as many people as possible so no one else has to suffer like I did. And I'm proud to say that the devastating statistics about this overlooked and often ignored condition are about to change forever. As I speak, over 60 million Americans experience some form of acid reflux, with 6 million of those suffering from Barrett's esophagus. But the most shocking thing of all is that the medical mainstream continues to tell you that nothing can be done about it. Today, things are finally about to change. With Bob's help, I've developed a safe and 100% natural system for tackling even the worst cases of acid reflux in as little as 2 days. It improves health and immunity and fights other digestive disorders too. I've called it Heartburn No More. Heartburn No More contains Bob's unique 5-step system that anyone can easily follow in the privacy of their own home using cheap, everyday ingredients. And this website is the only place in the world you can get a copy. I've taken Bob's entire strategy and explained it in detail. By following the steps and instructions in Heartburn No More, you can naturally put an end to your acid reflux condition. The strategies outlined in Heartburn No More are first and foremost designed to target and destroy H. pylori by focusing on the 5 scientifically proven compounds and nutrients that eliminate H. pylori. We've also included instructions on how to add these compounds and nutrients to your diet. As soon as you start using them, you'll flush H. pylori out of your system and you'll say goodbye for good to your acid reflux condition and the risk of Barrett's esophagus. Constantly eating the same foods can get boring quickly. That's why Heartburn No More provides many options to ensure you can always come up with new, interesting food combinations. If you get tired of one of them, or if it isn't available in your grocery store, try out another option. Completely removing H. pylori from the digestive tract will take just a few weeks. After that, it will never return. Unlike other treatments that target the symptoms, Bob's protocol targets the root cause. This is all it takes. 3 weeks of eating some extra fruits, veggies, and natural items that can heal a disease that could have hurt you for years. And it will also reduce your risk of developing other dangerous gastrointestinal disorders. After 3 weeks, you can always come back to the guide and follow it for a week every few months. This is regular body maintenance. After spending your entire life avoiding foods due to heartburn or dealing with the side effects of useless drugs, imagine the freedom of never having to deal with acid reflux again. You're never going to have painful acid burps leaving a horrible taste in your mouth. Heartburn No More offers you not just a quick fix, but your life back. Heartburn No More has already done that for more than 154,387 other people just like you. People like Karen Thompson of New Zealand, who recently wrote to say, I used to be hooked on junk food, Tums and Pepto-Bismol. I've suffered badly from severe acid reflux, chest pain, and bloating to the point that I begged my doctor to hospitalize me. My doctor insisted that acid reflux is a lifetime condition. Since I had nothing to lose, I bought your book and followed your program to a T. I was really blown away by the fact that about 20 days after I started applying the dietary and cleansing principles outlined in your book, my acid reflux had diminished significantly. This is amazing, and I was so excited that I had to drop you a thank you note. And Bob Lubin of Victoria, Australia says, "Hello, Jeff. When I was first diagnosed with GERD, my doctor specifically told me I would have to live with the condition. Luckily, I stumbled onto your website and ordered your wonderful book. I was so fascinated by the whole holistic approach, and I immediately started the first step. I was amazed and thrilled to find out that in less than 10 days, the symptoms of excess stomach acid and acid reflux that were driving me insane for so long had dramatically decreased, and my condition is still improving. No more Tums and sleepless nights for me. Thank you, and God bless." Mike Rosenberg of California, USA writes, "Since I started your program, my acid reflux symptoms seem to be on the run. I have no chest pain or burning sensation after a meal, even a heavy one. And I have tossed away all those expensive pills. This book is easy to understand, and the program is quite practical if you take it one step at a time. As well, I'm no longer constipated as I was before starting Heartburn No More. And I wish to thank you for that as well. This information should scare the hell out of the pharmaceutical and drug companies. Thank you for being such a kind spirit." Those are just a few of the hundreds of thankful emails Bob and I receive each day. Given this program's effectiveness and the fact that it has such an amazing record of documented results, how much does the Heartburn No More protocol cost? Well, before I answer that, let me ask you something. What is an acid reflux-free future worth to you? What would you pay to stop that devastating acid once and for all? Hundreds? Thousands? Tens of thousands? Whatever figure you have in mind, you know as well as I do that putting an end to that nightmarish acid reflux pain will be the best investment you could ever make. Period. On the other hand, if you ignore everything I've said and carry on as you are, you'll not only be sentencing yourself to a lifetime of acid reflux, which could get worse at any moment, you'll also be placing a huge burden on your loved ones. Because remember, it's not just you going through this. Your family is too. And you need to think about them when you consider the costs of doing nothing. After all, if you choose to carry on living with acid reflux, you'll be forced to shell out money year after year on things like doctor's visits, prescription medicine, over-the-counter pills, and much more. None of this actually gets to the root cause. This means you'll be draining your bank account on useless Band-Aid treatments for the rest of your life. And if you didn't know it already, living with acid reflux doesn't come cheap. Taking an over-the-counter drug like Zantac 3 or 4 times a day will end up costing you around $25 per month or $300 per year. Of course, that's if the over-the-counter or prescription medications work at all. For many people, they don't, which means you can't even put a price on real, permanent relief. And that's not even mentioning the terrifying complications of Barrett's esophagus and other gastrointestinal disorders caused by the H. pylori in your body. What would you pay to effectively treat your acid reflux and do it in as little as 21 days? Well, Bob and I decided that the price of this protocol would be set at an absolute minimum of $497. $497 gives you 2 guarantees: that you will never suffer from heartburn or any other symptom of acid reflux again, and that your body will be virtually immune to almost all gastrointestinal disorders. This should seem like a bargain. And a large percentage of people who took part in the trial have admitted to me that they would have happily paid 3, 4, even 5 times that amount based on the results they achieved. The good news is I don't want you to pay anything like that kind of money. And there are 3 reasons why. 1, I've set myself a target of helping 1 million people stop their acid reflux in the next 12 months. And I can't do that if I price out the majority of people. 2, this has never been about making money for me. Making a profit is not and never has been my motivation. This is about people's lives, which I've spent my entire adult life protecting. And 3, I made a promise to myself. After living with acid reflux for a decade, along with the dangerous and painful Barrett's esophagus, I simply want anyone suffering from this condition to get the help they need without worrying about whether they can afford it. End of discussion. So here's the deal. You're not going to have to pay $497 today, or half that, or even 1/10 for that matter. In fact, all I'm aiming to do here is to recover the costs involved in the research and development of this protocol and putting together this website, which I think you'll agree is more than fair. So when you click on the button below, you can pick up the Heartburn No More protocol for the tiny one-time payment of $37. And that's it. No monthly costs, no extra fees. Just one simple payment and it's all yours. And if you order today, you will also receive 3 special bonuses, absolutely free. Free bonus number 1, the 48-hour quick fix reflux relief, valued $37.95. This is the very same protocol Bob gave to me to complement the main Heartburn No More program. This is an instant remedy, 3 easily available food items that you can use to prevent and eliminate any type of acid reflux attack at any level of severity in less than 48 hours. Note that many customers have reported that this protocol has helped them achieve relief in less than 1 hour. This unique quick fix reflux relief protocol retails at $37.95, but it's yours absolutely free when you order today. Free bonus number 2, acid reflux progress charts and shopping lists, value $29. This bonus includes detailed shopping lists of all the foods you need to complete the Heartburn No More program and flush out the H. pylori from your body. All of these foods can easily be found at your local grocery store. You'll also receive a 21-day chart we created especially for you to monitor your progress, your symptoms, and your healing process when you follow the 5-step Heartburn No More program. Free bonus number 3, one-on-one email consultation with me for 1 month. Value $700. This bonus is worth a minimum of $700, which is the amount I charge for just 2 phone consultation sessions. Many people find these custom designed sessions invaluable for identifying and working with me to successfully treat their own unique acid reflux condition. I only have time, however, to personally counsel a few more people per month, so you have to act now to make sure you secure this amazing bonus. So for a small one-time only investment, you will get instant access to the Heartburn No More 5-step system, worth $497, the 48-hour quick fix reflux relief protocol, valued at $37.95, the shopping list, progress chart, and food list, valued at $29, and the 1-month unlimited email consultation with me, valued at $700. That's almost $1,260 of acid reflux eliminating life-changing value. And all for the cost of 1 meal at an average restaurant or a family trip to the movies. It's nothing, yet the results could be priceless. To get started now, simply click the Add to Cart button below this video. Once you do that, you'll be taken to the secure checkout page that Bob and I have set up, where you'll enter your basic information. Then you'll be taken to our special members only section, where you'll be given immediate access to the entire Heartburn No More program. From there, you'll be able to instantly view the food list, the combination guides, the portion instructions, my personal email address for your consultation sessions, and everything else right from your computer, smartphone, or tablet. You can also download all the lists and guides to print out copies for you and your loved ones. Think about it. Just 5 minutes after you push that Add to Cart button, you'll be on your way to never having another acid burp, stomach ache, burning throat, or other symptom of acid reflux again. Over 154,387 people and I have already experienced those results. And now it's your turn to follow in our footsteps. And because I am so determined to make sure that you get your hands on this guide right now, your small investment today will even be covered by a full 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. You have absolutely nothing to risk because you are also covered by our 60-day, 100% healthy or money-back guarantee. Even though I'm positive you'll get results immediately, you still have a full 2 months to try out Heartburn No More. If after using the program for yourself, you're not satisfied for any reason, or if you have to pop even one Zantac or Tums after using this program, I want you to send an email to the address I'll give you in the members only area, and I'll immediately refund your entire purchase with no questions asked. In other words, there is absolutely zero risk on your end. You simply say maybe to Heartburn No More today by clicking that Add to Cart button below, and then you get a full 2 months to take a test drive to see just how well it performs. But remember, if you are ready to treat your acid reflux and destroy your H. pylori, it's vital that you take action right now. Neither Bob nor I can say how long this site will stay up. Every day, more than 1,000 Americans just like you discover this website and try Heartburn No More for themselves. And because the results are so incredible and so consistent, those same people are blogging about the program, sharing it on social media, and telling others about it. It's great that so many people are finding out about this, but it also puts us at risk of being discovered by Big Pharma. It could be only days until the drug companies find out what we're doing and come after Bob or me using the billions of dollars in their war chests. So if you're even half curious about Heartburn No More and want to give it a 60-day risk-free test run, I urge you to go ahead and satisfy your curiosity right now. This presentation is now over, and the final decision is yours. You can just leave this page and go on with your day. That's your right, and while I think you'd be making a big mistake, there won't be any hard feelings. But when you have heartburn later tonight, tomorrow, or next week, when you still find yourself buying over-the-counter medications or using prescription drugs 5 years from now, bringing you no relief, and if, God forbid, your acid reflux morphs into something much more serious, just like mine did, aren't you going to regret the fact that you didn't take 5 minutes to try out Heartburn No More? Especially when it's completely risk-free and you can get instant access. The choice is yours. I hope you do the right thing and make the decision that will give you your life back. Click the button below. I hope to hear about your success story soon. I'm Jeff Martin. Still there? That's okay. I understand that you may still have some questions about the Heartburn No More guide. That's actually pretty common given the information inside this program, which is why I'll take a few minutes here to answer some of the most common questions people ask me after watching this video. Number one, how exactly does Heartburn No More work? Why can it treat my acid reflux when all the medications, lozenges, and even eating plans I've used in the past have failed? The reason Heartburn No More succeeds where other heartburn so-called solutions fail is that this guide addresses the root cause of your acid reflux. In other words, you've always been told that your acid reflux is the problem that needs fixing, but really it's just a symptom of a hidden killer inside your body called H. pylori. Over 60% of all Americans have H. pylori, and it's responsible for almost all stomach ulcers, gastrointestinal disorders, acid reflux, and Barrett's esophagus. This guide shows you how to combine a complete 5-step plan, a 2-day rapid acid reflux relief, and 5 different all-natural chemicals together in a way that systematically fixes the root cause of acid reflux while seeking out and destroying H. pylori. As a result, not only do you reduce your chances of getting Barrett's esophagus and other dangerous gastrointestinal disorders, but you also completely eliminate your acid reflux in the process. Number 2, what kind of results can I expect with Heartburn No More? Typically, people see their heartburn disappear within the first 48 hours of the program, and usually within 7 days max. Still, we recommend following it for a full 21 days to ensure that you get the maximum benefits, including the total elimination of H. pylori. Number 3, what are the terms of that guarantee again? Once you've decided to try Heartburn No More for yourself, you'll have a full 60 days to use it. There's no risk at all during this time. You simply give it a shot and just see how incredible and life-changing the results are. You'll see your acid reflux disappear in a matter of hours or days, but you still get an entire 2 months to make your decision. If for any reason you change your mind about this guide at any point during those 2 months, all you need to do is send an email to the address I'll give you, and I will instantly refund your entire investment with no questions asked. Number 4, are my credit card information and personal information safe? Absolutely. When you click the button, you'll be taken to ClickBank's 100% secure payment form. Your credit card and personal information are electronically processed without compromise. ClickBank is a top 100 global retailer, accredited by the Better Business Bureau and trusted with over 200 million customers in more than 190 countries. Number 5, can I use PayPal to check out? The answer is yes. You can securely purchase the Heartburn No More system using your PayPal account or any major debit or credit card when you click on the button and a new page opens with your own private, secure checkout area. Number 6, okay, I'm ready. How do I get started? Just click the Add to Cart button you see below this video, and you'll be taken to the secure checkout page Bob and I have set up where you'll enter your basic info. Once you've done that, you get instant access to the food list, the portion guide, the daily instructions, and everything else. You'll be able to view the entire guide right on your computer, your smartphone, or your tablet. You can also download it or print it out, as many copies as you like. And like I just mentioned, you'll be covered by a full 2-month money-back guarantee, which is why there is absolutely nothing to lose and why you should go ahead and click that Add to Cart button you see right now.